Thank you, Mr. Speaker and my colleagues. And it's pleased to hear the gentleman from California from the other side of the aisle who just spoke and his willingness to work together. I think that's the kind of cooperation that the American people are looking for and that Congress needs to adhere to in coming together and resolving this. No one wants a shutdown. No one wants to see vital and essential government programs eliminated or withheld from the public. Sometimes in these situations that are most difficult, you actually become concerned about basic common sense or, again, the attempts of certain people to try to embarrass each side. I think one of the worst things I've seen in my service was the close down of some of our memorials. This probably won't show up for my colleagues very well, but this is the Martin Luther King Memorial. You just walk up and look at it. But to deploy interior and park personnel to put out barriers to constrain the public from even walking is absolutely senseless, mindless, bureaucratic move. Many people saw also the construction, and this again is not a very good photo, but this is park personnel that were deployed putting fences up in front of the Lincoln Memorial, and then most offensively to put barriers to block in an open air park memorial, our World War II veterans memorial. This is senseless. Now, I've talked to Mr. Issa and the Oversight Subcommittee and committees, both that I chair one. Mr. Issa chairs the whole Oversight Committee of Congress. I know Mr. Hastings is going to look into this, his Natural Resources Committee. But this is a senseless offense to the American people, and particularly our veterans and others. There's no reason for this. So some common sense has to prevail in all of this. We will get beyond this. People will be made whole. And it is unfortunate that sometimes the government, whether it was back in Washington's days or throughout our history, does work on a brinkmanship basis and does not get a resolution, particularly when you come to difficult times. And my colleagues, we are at one of the most difficult times in history. Within the next 2 weeks, the United States of America will be at our debt limit. We'll be $17 trillion in debt. They're going to come and ask for another $1 trillion for a year to keep us from being a deadbeat nation. How did we get here? That's part of the question that has to be resolved here. You had an era of unprecedented spending, the 4 years in which the other side, and this is facts, took control. They spent $1.5 trillion more than they took in the first year in office, $1.4 trillion, $1.3 trillion, and so on and so on, until we've gone from $9 trillion in debt to 17, reaching 18, almost double in 5 or 6 years. That's unsustainable. So that's what this is about. It's also about a health care program. And I come from a family that at times didn't have health care, and many Americans need health care, and we should be able to provide them. But people didn't ask for a bureaucracy. People didn't ask for thousands of bureaucrats here to manage a government program. They didn't ask for IRS enforcers. They didn't ask for many of the mandates that are in this bill that can and need to be revised. The President has already revised the law. The President said he didn't need the Congress, as you'll recall, some time ago, and obviously he hasn't. He's changed some of the terms, given exemptions to employers, put that off for a year, which was part of the law. We've asked, and again, some of us wanted it repealed, some of us didn't like it, but we now have it. We need to revise it, and we need to make certain that Americans have good health care and access to affordable care. but not with the bureaucracy. We've offered at least 3 alternatives and some changes. The last one pretty simple, a delay for a while, the individual mandate like we've done for others. So we can do this, we must do this, and we must succeed for the American people. I yield back the balance of my time.
Gentleman's time is expired.